Closing the Gap podcast is produced by the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas and is supported by the association, sponsors, and advertising. Information discussed in this podcast is intended for general informational purposes only and does not constitute direct medical advice or solicitation for recruitment abroad. Discussions are aimed at informing and engaging listeners and should not replace professional medical consultations. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for medical advice specific to your situation. Hello everyone, welcome to Closing the Gap podcast, brought to you by the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, also known as ANPA. My name is Dr. Agua, emergency medicine physician in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'll be your host for today. Before we get started on our show today, we would like to share a brief excerpt from an interview with one of our ANPA members about why they joined ANPA. Let's take a listen.
I'm Dr. Johnson Adeyanju. I've been an ANPA member for over 20 years. I'm an ANPA member because of the camaraderie, because of the networking, because of the value it brings in my life and the life of everybody I've met. ANPA is a wonderful organization and it's a way for us to help Nigeria in developing a healthier country of the country we all love. Thank you.
ANPA, the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, represent the professional interests of over 5,000 physicians, dentists, and allied health professionals of Nigerian birth, ethnicity, or empathy in the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. If you are a physician based in the United States, we encourage you to consider joining our association. To find out more about who we are and what we do, please visit our website at www.anpa.org. Before introducing our guest for today, we would like to kick things off with a trivia question. If you know the answer to the question, leave us a comment on social media with your answer. The answer to this week's trivia questions will be shared at the end of the podcast. This meal is made from dried, grated cassava flour and is often eaten with Nigerian traditional soups. Hint: it is either white or yellow when cooked. Stay tuned to the show for the answer to this trivia question. The goal of the ANPA Closing the Gap podcast is to share the stories of physicians and healthcare workers in Nigeria and the United States and how they're helping to close the gaps in provision of healthcare services to people in need of them. Today on our show, we have the amazing ANPA National Treasurer, Dr. Lanre Jimoh, with us today. You're welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agua. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So we're going to jump right into it and just tell our viewers or our listeners today, please, what your journey has been like in ANPA and how you got to be the amazing National Treasurer.
No, thank you. You're too kind. I started off in ANPA as a medical student in 2007. And when I met some ANPA leaders at that time, they expressed to me that there was a pipeline problem. They were having some difficulty reaching the next generation of ANPA members like myself, who were at that time still in medical school. So they asked me to solve that problem, and I accepted the challenge. And that was how we founded DNPT, which is the Distinguished Nigerian Physicians of Tomorrow, which is ANPA's medical students arm. And I served as president of that organization for the first 2 years. And, that's kind of how I got into ANPA, trying to solve a problem. And since that task, I have since taken on other roles and served in other capacities in the organization after my residency and then fellowship. And I found myself running for national treasurer just this past summer. But I've had the opportunity of serving in different committees. I've had the opportunity of helping plan a convention in Charlotte in 2022. I served on the board of directors. I served on the bylaws committee as secretary. The most recent bylaws and organizational governance structure that we now have in ANPA. I was a key architect in sort of putting that together along with the entire bylaws committee. And I'm really proud of that work we did, and I'm just excited to take on the next role, the next challenge as national treasurer.
Awesome. Yes, I've seen your handwork over the years as well, and I've actually, I think we served on the board at some point together. So yes,
that's right.
Yes, I can attest to pretty much everything you've said so far.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I just wanted to find out, what do you think are some of the biggest accomplishments ANPA has already achieved so far since your tenure as treasurer?
Well, that's a good question. I don't want to. I think, first of all, the team is excellent. I serve alongside my president, Dr. Cliff Eke, a good friend and a mentor, and Dr. Gertie Anyawoke serves as our president-elect, and Dr. Chinyere Anyogo is our immediate past president. So I'm really just fortunate to be working alongside this amazing group of leaders, and I'm learning a lot from them. It's been an interesting past 6 months, 5-6 months. When we took over in June in Anaheim, we had to sort of weather some storm financially. That we had just come off our two most expensive ANPA conventions in history, New York and then California. They were fantastic conventions. They were well planned, spectacular, but they were also quite expensive. We went through an audit, an external audit, which we hadn't done in 4 years. That was a great achievement. We've also tried to plan towards the convention in 2025 in Lagos, alongside a medical mission trip, all happening in the same week. So we've had to basically hit the ground running, working with collaborators and working with partners in Nigeria to make this a successful event. And one of the things that, made me run was because I saw that the opportunity to really be a fiscal steward of the organization. And when I say that because in 2009, when the only other time ANPA actually went to Nigeria for a convention, I was part of the team then. I was the DMPT president. And I remember when we came back, the organization was pretty much broke. We're in financial ruins, and my goal is to make sure that history does not repeat itself. So in terms of, financial and fiscal responsibility, I think we're on a in good stead. And we've also been able to increase the dues, which was way overdue. So we've gone from $365 to $500 per year. So I think that will serve us well. And most notably, we have an association management company now that is helping us with running the organization. The organization has gotten so big that we couldn't continue with just 1 or 2 people. We actually needed a full staff. And now we have that retinue of staff, and we're very proud of that. So we think that ANPA is equipped operationally and in a better position financially to execute on the goals we have for 2025 and beyond.
Great. So I'm glad you actually spoke about the dues. We have a range of listeners. We have a whole host of medical students, residents, and so forth. Are you able to share with the listeners how the residents and the students' dues work?
Sure, absolutely. So ANPA dues had been $365 since 1995 when we started as an organization. And if you factor in inflation, $365 in $1995 is now worth $754 today. So going up to $500 is actually still a discount. Out of that $500, $350 is going to go to the local chapter, which is an increase from $265 they used to get before. I'm sorry, 265 was going to national. Now it's going to be 350. Apologies. And local was getting $100. Their number goes to 150. So this also empowers local chapters to have more financial resources. As for the residents and fellows, it used to be $0. Now it is $50. And I was on a call with them. They all thought that was fair, because we now have a subcommittee for ANPA trainees. We have sort of monthly meetings. We send them care packages. We're doing a lot of database and matchmaking and mentorship. So we're actually offering a lot of value, and none of them complained about the $50 for residents and fellows. And so that's the dues for residents and fellows. For students, DNPT decides on their dues, and I think it's $35. I was on a call with their leadership just last week. So, but ANPA has nothing to do with that. The NPT sort of controls that decision and the finances on that note. So I hope that answers the questions.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely did. It is clear to for our viewers to know that the DMPT is the ANPA leg for the medical students, and then the fellows now their dues are $50, and then the professionals are whose dues have gone up to $500, and which is, like Dr. Jimo said, is very reasonable for 2024, 2025 moving forward. I also wanted to, as the treasurer, for you to kind of elaborate if we have potential, sponsors listening like right now, how can they go about sponsoring us since we're a nonprofit organization? And also if you can share with them how some of their sponsorship funds have been used in the past and what we plan to use them for in the future.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agua. So the email address is treasurer@anpa.org. Very easy. Treasurer@anpa.org is the easiest way to reach out to us. We appreciate all of our sponsors. We have a long-standing relationship with several sponsors, whether it's Gilead, Vertex, Fidelity Bank, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, just to name a few. And over the years, our conventions have created educational opportunities, CMEs for providers. We also appreciate our sponsors on the mission side of things. When we go to Nigeria to carry out charity mission care, we always depend on our sponsors to help facilitate that. We have sponsors like Boston Scientific, Microtech, Johnson & Johnson, Ethicon, that have given us supplies that we've used to carry out procedures and interventions in these parts of Nigeria where access to care is very, very limited. So we appreciate them donating towards that. And that whatever they donate, 100% of it goes towards the care of these people who get, amazing life interventions for free. That's a very big achievement. We do this every year, and we're very proud of that. But 2025 is a big year in terms of, what we're doing in Lagos. But beyond that, what we are trying to do with the Pearl Endowment Fund, which I hope I get a chance to talk about, even for a few minutes. But we are always welcoming to sponsors, and we have sponsors for different things. We have sponsors for medical missions. We have sponsors for the conventions. We have other programs within the convention, like Hat and Tea. The money goes towards care of towards a lot of initiatives like breast cancer, Pap smear, helping babies survive. We also have sponsors for our BLS and ACLS training. Recently, we have the Stop the Bleed, which is a way to teach people how to apply tourniquet during traumatic accidents and to prevent blood loss and help save lives. So we are doing that now, working with Nigerian parastatals and MDA on how this can become a national intervention. There are other ways you can still sponsor, even if it's like towards activism through the NPAG, through the ANPA Foundation. There are several avenues that your help can go a long way. So please reach out to us, treasurer@anpa.org. And we also have the Golf Classic. That's another one that's very popular with sponsors. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I was going to just ask you one more question, but I'm going to leave it open to you. It sounds like you would like to talk more about the Pearl Endowment. So please, if you would want to share with the listeners, what that is and how we can help.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agua, for the opportunity. So when I ran for treasurer, I had three main agendas. The Pearl Endowment Fund was my number one, which is the Pearl because we're turning 30 in 2025. And also the Endowment Fund, the idea is that an organization like ours should be beyond just dues. We should have several revenue sources. So dues, sponsorships, grants, endowment, dividends, and revenue. And so we want to build a $1 million endowment. And like as the name implies, the capital is not going to be touched. Only the proceeds from dividends and interest will go towards powering our activities. And particularly what we're most excited about at this juncture in our history is the ANPA business office that's going to be opening in Nigeria. And this is going to be a transformative development because this is going to be a business office that will allow us to actually have a permanent presence in Nigeria, working with private and public sector partners to carry on key projects and initiatives, and will also help us be a vital part of that healthcare sector revitalization that's going on in Nigeria right now. We see a future where reverse medical tourism and Jakbada syndrome is going to be the key of the day. So ANPA wants to be a part of that and wants to facilitate that. And so the Pearl Endowment, which is a $1 million endowment, is currently open. We're taking donations from benefactors. We have different caterers of donations. But it's a big project, and I think it's going to put ANPA in a different stratosphere. And we're really excited about this sort of big goals and big visions. So please reach out to us at treasurer@anpa.org if you'd like to be a part of our PEF funders. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, Dr. Jimo. I know that your time is valuable, so thank you for joining us. And this is the season's greetings. So if you don't mind wishing our listeners all over the world memorable holidays, go ahead, please, Dr. Jimo.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agua. It's a pleasure joining you this morning. I want to thank you for taking on this task. Your leadership in ANPA over the years is not unnoticed. The Georgia chapter is better for your service and what you've done at the national level as well. And I'm excited to continue working with you. And I want to thank all the other people behind the scenes making this possible. David, thank you. I want to wish our listeners all over the world a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year 2025. We pray we'll usher in blessings and prosperity and just fulfillment for all of us. And please continue to support ANPA. ANPA is a global force for good. I'm proud of what the organization has done over the past 30 years, and I'm excited about what we're going to be doing in the next 30. So thank you so much for letting me be here, join you today. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Jimo. Happy holidays, everyone. At this point, we will be taking a short break. Please stay tuned.
Have you ever considered plastic surgery? Do you have poor self-image or body pain due to excessive skin or fat? You would consider professional cosmetic plastic surgery provided by ANPA Plastics. Besides concealing aesthetic physical flaws, cosmetic surgery has several physical and mental health benefits, including increasing one's self-worth, self-esteem, and overall quality of life. At ANPA Plastics, we specialize in facial rejuvenation, breast enhancements, and other contouring procedures such as liposuction, tummy tucks, fat transfers, and mommy and daddy makeovers. Our office is located at 276A Kofo Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Visit us online today at www.abujaplastics.com or email us at info@abujaplastics.com. ANPA Closing the Gap podcast listeners can get 5% discount on surgery fees and 10% off spa services when they mention the Closing the Gap podcast. Get your nip and tuck today at ANPA Plastics. M&G Etome Foundation provides skills acquisition programs, graduate HSE programs, and community sports and recreation programs for impoverished youth in the Port Harcourt area of the Niger Delta in Nigeria. Our goal is to break the harsh cycle of poverty in these rural areas of Nigeria by teaching the value of self-empowerment and improvement through our various programs and activities. To find out more about what we do at M&GE Etome Foundation, visit our website at www.mgesolutions.org. We also welcome your donations, support, and sponsorship offerings. Together, we can facilitate positive change and programs of sustaining development of youth in the Niger Delta community.
Before wrapping up our show for today, here's the answer to today's trivia question. This meal is made from dried, grated cassava flour and is often eaten with Nigerian traditional soups. Hint, it is either white or yellow when cooked. The answer? Eba. Eba is a West African dish primarily made from grated cassava flour, also called gari, that is cooked into a starchy dough-like consistency, often served with rich soups and stews. Thank you for staying with us till the end of this show today. This has been the Closing the Gap podcast, brought to you by ANPA, the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Just search for ANPA National and you will find us everywhere. If you've enjoyed this podcast, we encourage you to consider donating towards one of our upcoming medical missions, partnering us, or volunteering. You can also sponsor this podcast or submit an advert placement request. To do any of these, visit the ANPA website at www.anpa.org or send us an email at info@anpa.org. Finally, remember to join us next week for another episode of the Closing Gap podcast. My name is Dr. Uche Agoa, emergency medicine physician from Atlanta, Georgia, and it's been a pleasure being your host today. Till next time, stay healthy and goodbye.